In 1178, mere days after her ascension to the throne, Agnes, the Archduchess of Austria, is invited to be the Holy Roman Emperor's spymaster. Sources of the day are unclear as to why the Holy Roman Emperor decided that he had to invite a zero-intrigue woman to be his spymaster, but it is known that Agnes of Austria declined this offer, as she had much grander ideas in mind, to carry on the work of her father and her grandfather before her. In 1183, it's known that Archduchess Agnes starts to panic about her fertility. She had been married for many years with the Crown Prince of Hungary, but not managed to press out a child. And though today we know that she preferred the company of women, it's unknown why it took her this long a time to have a child to solidify the future for the dynasty. April of 1184 finally saw a pregnancy for Archduchess Agnes, the child of which would consolidate 2 generations of work towards uniting Austria and Hungary. In July, however, disaster struck. The child Agnes was bearing was premature, and once again the future for the Archduchy of Austria was thrown into turmoil. In 1186, Hungary declared war on Poland for the de jure claims Poland held within the territory of Hungary. Remembering the insults Poland threw towards Austria, Archduchess Agnes pledged her troops to the war effort in Hungary. It was around the time of the siege in Krakow that the Archduchess fell pregnant once again. The entire court of Austria was holding their breath, hoping that this one would provide a suitable heir. In May of the next year, the Archduchess gave birth to a little girl, inheriting the name of her grandmother, Agnes. Provided that they protected this little girl, the future for the dynasty, and for Austria, and for Hungary, was secure. In 1191, the Duchess had another child, a son this time, and under traditional inheritance law, the son became the new heir apparent. Young Philip with 2 P's, the stutterer, presumably named so to make fun of his stuttering, became the most important young man in the entirety of Western Europe. In 1191, reports came in from England that the new king, Thomas, of the dynasty von Babenberg, had some noticeable deformities in him. Apparently the young man is a hunchback. Editor's note: it's at this point where I really started to think that the game was peeking at the real world von Habsburg dynasty and starting to assign bullshit from them in my game. In 1195, some serious deformity set in the Kingdom of England. The son of Thomas was born inbred, and a quick investigation quickly revealed why the young man was in the state that he was in. Young King Rüchter is the result of an aunt-nephew marriage, an aunt and nephew of the same bloodline. The young man would be facing an uphill battle for the rest of his life, but at least it would be a battle with the support of Austria. In 1197, the Queen of Hungary declared another stupid war and forcibly pulled the Austrians into it. It was around this time that it's believed that the Archduchess of Austria took up drinking. On the 21st of May, 1202, Archduchess Agnes of Austria passed away. It's with the greatest respect that many of her courtiers write that she passed away from drinking herself to death. They also interject that they thoroughly believe it's the constant stream of demands from the Queen of Hungary that drove the Archduchess to the drink. She's succeeded by her 11-year-old son, Philip, with 2 P's, the stutterer, presumably named so to make fun of his stuttering. At a mere 11 years old, the young man will once again, like his ancestor Leopold III, have to make use of his counsel for the first few years of his reign. But one thing was known: to make his great-grandfather's dream of a united Austria-Hungary a reality, young Philip would have to survive. In 1207, Philip came of age, a spectacularly average man. In any other dynasty in Europe, the young man would have likely been pushed aside for one of his more accomplished relatives. But a future of an empire rests upon the shoulders of young Philip, and his abilities will have to do. In 1222, disaster struck. Philip the Stutterer came down with consumption, and while not necessarily fatal to an adult, even at the time, young Philip is still survived by his father, the now King of Hungary, and to make the dream a reality, he has to hang on. Managing to hang on for a year with his consumption, the glorious day finally came. Gaspar of Hungary, the husband to Archduchess Agnes, passed away, and the Kingdom of Hungary passed into the hands of Philip the Stutterer. Having now become the power in Central and Western Europe, it only remained for the Archduke to present his demands to the Holy Roman Emperor. The Archduchy of Austria and the Kingdom of Hungary won its independence from the Holy Roman Empire, leaving but one official step to fulfill the dreams of his forebears. Presiding over his kingdom from his palace in Vienna, the Archduke declared a formation of a new empire, the Empire of Austria-Hungary, and Emperor Philip the Stutterer retreated to his chambers Long live the Emperor.